Hi, Dustin Adams with you again, showing you another one of the tech tools that I use to improve instruction in my classroom. One-to-one technology and blended learning and these types of kind of buzzwords that are going around they can be really helpful in improving student engagement and helping differentiate instruction, adding student choice, and letting students have self-paced lessons. But it's kind of all for naught if we don't have a way to organize the tasks that we put together for students. I looked at lots of different options trying to come up with which tool would work best for me. In the idea of blended learning, part of the instruction would be done digitally while the students are one-to-one. Our school isn't one-to-one, but the way our labs are situated, I can generally get into a lab that has enough computers for each of my students at least part of the week. And I almost said that this tool would be used for when the kids are working on their own, but I don't like to think of it that way. I like to think that this tool allows me to work with the students while they're in the digital space, while my corporeal form can go around the lab, pulling kids for small group, either interventions or extensions. We can do Socratic seminars or hands-on activities to deepen the learning. Sometimes I like to think that the work that the students do online is kind of laying the foundation, and then that allows us to get much deeper into some of the Bloom's activities that you can do once you have that firm foundation. The solution I found that works well for connecting the students to the right information while they're on the computers is a website called Linoit. Linoit is a tool that is basically a digital bulletin board, and I like to kind of run with that theme and go ahead and keep the cork board background. They call this view right here a canvas. The way that I differentiate instruction that is done through this site is I will create, they look like the same thing, but it'll be 3 different canvases for my 3 groups. I've grouped the students based on mainly reading comprehension skills, but then also students that need more work read aloud would be in the group that has those tools linked to it. I named my groups Pequot, Powhatan, and Wampanoag after some of the Native American groups from the East Coast that had early contact with Europeans, but that's just kind of related to my content. I thought that was a lot better than giving them, group 1, 2, 3, or some kind of names that were indicative of that they're actually leveled groups. Right now, when I keep the canvases looking the same, the students barely even notice that there's a difference. Some students have more vocabulary words. Some students have read aloud options enabled. But it doesn't become a big deal to the students. They just know they're on different groups. They don't give it much thought. And I like that. I think that's good. So to explain how I use Linoit each unit or each week, some of the headings are consistent from week to week, and I'm always going to have vocabulary, and I always try to find a video and a writing prompt in some of these others. I put those in the clear sticky notes, and they stay the same, while each week I can change the stickies that go over top. When I'm planning, I use a Google Sheets page to go through and decide, make sure that all the students always have the same topic, the essential learning is the same, but this is where I would figure out what the vocab words are going to be for each group. Sometimes the videos are the same, sometimes they're different. I just go through and I fill out kind of the bare bones of the work that I'm going to have them do here, and then I can copy and paste most of that onto the stickies that I set up each week. Well, now I'm having trouble getting back to where I want. There I go. The view that I'm showing you right now is my login view, which, since the sticky notes are kind of seen as temporary things that you would accomplish, we have a check mark that would let you kind of peel off and throw away that sticky note. I really wouldn't want students to be able to do that, so they don't have a login. I just share with them the link to this, and they can see what I have. They can follow the links, but they can't change any of my work. They can't delete any of these things. And that's the way I use it, and that's the way I'd prefer to have it. There are plenty of tutorials and videos on just the basics of using Linoit. So I'll let you rely on people that are much better explaining things than me to show you how to use this if you want to become a user of Linoit. It's a free resource. It's one that I found really helpful. But really quickly, I'll show you how to create a new one. It just says create a new canvas, and you can choose the background. I'm going to stick with my favorite, the old reliable corkboard. And this is what you start off with, and it can be really intimidating, but one thing that I'd like to try in the future is to do a bingo or tic-tac-toe layout so that students do have more choice, where there may be 9 different sticky notes, and instead of needing to accomplish them all, students would be able to choose, do I want to follow this link and do an activity that might be a choose-your-own-adventure type Google form versus following this link that has instructions on making a historical map. And the instructions would be to students to complete 3 in a row, or there may be point totals attached to each one, and they'd have to reach a certain number of points. I was kind of introduced to that idea through Carolyn Coyle's books. They're excellent books. If you're local, let me know, and I can let you borrow those if you're ever interested. And another thing I'd like to show you, when we have students working in this digital space at their own pace, especially if you have younger students like mine who are generally 10 or 11 years old, the trick is to teach them the skills to keep track of where they are. And one of the ways I've done that is, since our students are users of the Google Apps, I created a paperless classroom tracking sheet, and I shared this with them, and they created copies. Along the bottom, they'd have different weeks, and they could fill this in and keep track of when they've accomplished different tasks, and then they can put in scores, and this would be a kind of historical snapshot of what they've gotten accomplished. It is, for my students even, a learning experience on how to get through many of these different things. Sometimes there will be a link to a Voki. Sometimes there will be a link to create a Voki and email it to me. So it's tough to hold every student to the standard of getting all of it done the first time. So as long as the students were fully engaged, I accepted that it took a few weeks doing this before I could expect each activity to be done, have the score on here ready to go by the end of the time I had assigned to it. I think that this could be used on its own, but I really think the true power for this is once students are assigned these tools and they start working independently, then they can be brought in and worked with in a small group. I've kind of felt like that was always the struggle, especially at the age group that I have. What to do with the students that you're not working with that minute. The high student engagement and the independence that this fosters has really allowed me to work with students on their level in an impressive way, and I really enjoy it. If you have any questions, if you want to try this out, share some examples you have, or you'd like to see what I've done, I'd love to share links with you. Please let me know. You can reach out to me at teachbaby on Twitter, or you can email me at mrmrdustinadams@aol.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.